Thank you for joining us once again for the City of Maple Grove Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. Thanks for joining us, along with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
We've got a meeting from December 18th to talk about, and also a lot of activities coming up in the city, as you might guess, during the holidays and into next year, so we will preview those. Before the council meeting on the 18th, there was a work session. Let's touch on a few of the items that were covered. The first is continued discussion on housing goals. Give us a little reminder of what this discussion was.
Yeah, so as part of our 2022 to 2024 city goals, we had a number of items related to housing. And this topic really came down to there's a number of lots around the city that the city owns, and are there opportunities there to encourage some type of housing development to help serve the housing need in the community. We had a proposal that we were looking to maybe partner with MACV, which is an organization that serves veterans, and the council wanted to kind of take a step back with that and kind of look at a process and what other lots are available in the city. So good overall review of the lots that are available in the city for some form of development. Some of them are more related to maybe the community center project or what's happening with transit, those types of things, and those will kind of be put off into the future. But getting back to that, those lots that would be available for maybe like single family type development, the direction of the council was to work with the West Hennepin Area Land Trust, which is an organization that we've worked with in the past. Basically, they work with a builder to build a home, and then the land trust holds the land underneath that house, and so it keeps that home at an affordable rate into the future, with the land trust continuing to hold that land. So we'll look at that for that lot on Nathan Lane, and then there was some other just kind of requests for information that we'll be following up on that housing topic. And then Northwest Area Master Planning and planned unit development discussions. So just some discussion about what's left to develop out in the northwest quadrant of the city. We've seen a lot of development activity. 610 now going across the field out there, we think will open that door a little bit more to development. So really looking at what's left. There's been a number of multifamily projects constructed out there, but I think we're kind of hitting where most of that land that's designated towards high density in our comprehensive plan has probably been utilized, and now we'll start to see more of kind of the low to medium density type housing, and then other commercial industrial type uses in and around the 610 and 94 corridor. So just a good review of that and kind of how that works through the comprehensive planning and master planning process for an area, and what that's looked like over the years and what's remaining now. So good discussion there, and probably going to do some education pieces for the community, just understanding kind of how development works, how the comp planning process works, and what's left to develop in the northwest quadrant.
All right, and as we have more info, we'll pass that along as well. Now to the council meeting on the 18th. One item pulled from consent, and that was related to the Fire Relief Association bylaws. So some updating being done, and this was then tabled, correct?
Yeah, so this was tabled and to come back to the council in a work session format. So just some questions about the bylaw changes that are being proposed that council had, and so we'll be preparing some information and bringing that back likely in the new year.
Next item on the meeting was a fun topic to talk about, and some guests were in crowns at the meeting. This is the Maple Grove Ambassadors. They talked a little bit about what they've done and also a little look ahead. They're busy.
They are. So our ambassadors this year are Aspen Erickson, Alexis Fuller, and then Chloe Lamoth. They all have a lot on their plate in addition to being a Maple Grove ambassador. Aspen is a freshman at St. Thomas, majoring in actuarial science and math, and so she's got a full course load up there. Alexis is a sophomore up at NDSU, and she's on the pre-med track. And then Chloe is a senior at Osseo Senior High this year, and she'll be headed to Hamlin next fall. So these are three young women who have bright futures ahead of them, and we're just really grateful for all the events they're able to show up to hear the volunteer work that they're doing in the community, and watch them grow throughout this year. So congratulations to them again, and they're all home kind of for the holidays now. A little easier for college kids once they get to that winter break to come back and be part of things. So thank you to them for coming in and sharing their story with us.
There were a few warning notes about their participation in the polar plunge.
Right.
So they're all very excited to jump into Frozen Lake. We'll see if that indeed is a frozen lake, but
Yes.
that's to come on their agenda. One public hearing on the 18th, and that relates to a restaurant that is coming up quickly. Where is it?
Yeah, so this is right on Main Street. It's in the former Leanne Chin space. They're kind of right out in front of Lunds and Byerly's. So it's Tono Pizzeria and Cheesesteaks. So they were in front of us last night for on-sale wine and beer liquor license, and so that was approved. They are looking to get open on December 27th, so right after the Christmas holiday. This is their 6th store in the metro area. I've had an opportunity to go to their Woodbury location, which was a great experience. Great wood fire pizza, cheesesteaks, fries, those types of things. And so I think this is going to be a great addition to Main Street, and I think they'll be real busy once they get open here after the Christmas holiday. So congratulations to them, and we look forward to their operation opening and bringing some new energy there to the corner of Main Street.
Very exciting. Next, the council adjourned to go to the EDA meeting to cover a couple important items. The first was the EDA budget and the HRA tax levy. Give us a quick overview of those two documents.
Yeah, so on an annual basis, we levy $150,000 through the EDA and HRA designated towards basically some housing programs and other EDA efforts, and that's been a consistent levy probably for 20 years here. That's consistent in terms of how the money is used and the amount of that levy. So other things that were discussed also is the Woodland Mounds senior housing budget. So this is the senior housing facility that's located kind of up behind the Dairy Queen there. City owned and operated by Great Lakes Management. That's our property management company. So a lot of discussion about the rates, rental rates there, and some increase to those. This is an aging facility built in the 90s, and so it's starting to, have some more major capital needs in this building to make sure that it's kept up and operates well. So there were some rent increases approved here that were recommended by our property management company. We had put a hold on some rent increases during the pandemic, just understanding that, financial situations might be a little bit more challenging, but just in an effort to keep up with the capital needs of the building and make sure that we're having those operating reserves available. The council did then approve the budget for the Woodland Mounds project as well, and that wrapped up the EDA.
Council reconvenes and gets an update on community and economic development items. The first is Planning Commission, scheduled for January 8th, and may have a few items that we're familiar with coming back.
Yeah, so this is two projects that have been in front of the Planning Commission before. Bella Woods, so this is a development back to the northeast quadrant of the city, up kind of north of 101st, west of what would be the new Arbor Ridge Parkway there in that developing area in the northwest quadrant. So that one will be coming back. And then AMC North. So this is the kind of the former theater site, the north building that they're proposing kind of between Malone's and Red Lobster. This one has been going back for more looking at kind of traffic circulation, parking, those types of things, impacts to kind of the surrounding intersections. A busy area, no doubt, but wanting to look at kind of how the parking and circulation will work there. So they're continuing to work on that, and we're hoping that can come back on January 8th as well.
Couple final notes were about a couple new businesses coming to town that had some grand openings. Where can people now do a little more shopping?
Yeah, so Advent is a medical office up off the Bell Tower, North Bell Tower off of Upland Lane. This is a medical office, medical service that deals with a lot of sinus issues or sleep apnea type issues. Kind of an interesting approach. It's less invasive than sometimes maybe having sinus surgery, those types of options. So great to have them here. I think this is their 8th location in the Minnesota area. And then Freshly Leaf, this one's over at the Fountain. So the kind of the bubble tea craze. I know my teenage girls love the bubble tea, and so I think that's popular amongst the younger folks. And so this is a new one over in the Fountain's Freshly Leaf.
Next item was Engineering and Public Works, and there was a new person in the chair next to you.
Yeah.
This was his first meeting.
It was. So Chris LeBounty was with us as our new Public Works Director, City Engineer. This is week 2 for him. Right. So he started with us on December 11th, so had a week to kind of get up to speed before being at the council meeting. So we're really grateful for Chris joining the team. He comes to us from the city of Plymouth, where he was the Assistant Public Works Director, City Engineer, and so coming up here in this role, I think think was a nice transition. I know a lot of familiarity in the Northwest area up here, being so close in Plymouth. So Chris talked a little bit about earlier on the consent agenda, we approved the contracts for the 610 project.
Right.
So that will be getting underway here over the winter months. They're going to start to do kind of some tree removal work out there over the winter months and then get ready for construction in the spring. So that one will start to take shape here over the next year.
Welcome to Chris. First administrative item was the finish line for the budget process. So this was the final presentation and then the eventual approval.
Yeah, so we did have our budget hearing on December 4th, so pretty extensive presentation there. This was a little bit more streamlined presentation, but again, if folks are interested in taking a look, all the information is contained in a PowerPoint out there on our website as part of the agenda packet that really kind of summarizes what the budget components were this year, or some of the things that were driving some of the budget this year, primarily a lot of it having to do with just inflationary costs, increase in cost of utilities, pressure on wages, benefits, those types of things. And so budget got approved. We didn't have anybody come to testify at this one. We did have one at the December 4th meeting. So again, lots of information available out there on the website if folks are interested in what's coming ahead now for the 2024 budget year.
And final notes you had at the meeting, we've got some holidays coming up, as everyone knows, and that's going to affect a little bit about the city offices and also the upcoming meetings. Remind us about those.
Yeah, so city offices will be closed on Monday, December 25th for the Christmas holiday, and then Monday, January 1st for the New Year's holiday. So our city council meeting would have normally fallen on New Year's Day, so then it shifts to the 2nd, but the council has decided to forego the January 2nd meeting, so that meeting will be canceled. So our next city council meeting then will be January 16th, which is actually a Tuesday because of the Monday Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. So Tuesday, January 16th will be the next meeting of the council.
All right, and we'll be back together shortly after that to give you a recap. So that's the latest on the council meeting. Now let's move to some things happening in the city. A lot going on, as you might imagine, because of the holidays. But first, we're going to take a little look back at some successes here recently of some drives. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we're always real happy to participate in these annual toy drives for cross services. Gifts and gift cards were collected over a three-week period at city facilities. Our police department is involved in coordinating this, so great appreciation to them to help cross services during this time of the holidays. And then we had our Shop with a Cop event. So the police department hosted this year's Shop with a Cop, and it's always held with Walmart. They're a good community partner. They provide some funding for this event. So it's a memorable event with for 18 kids, and then our police staff that participates, they get to go shopping for their family. They come back to the community center, wrap those gifts, have some pizza and refreshments, and then their families pick them up. So it's a great night for officers to form relationships with youth in our community, and everybody leaves with presents for their family.
Very nice. Special thanks to all those involved in giving. Domestic violence awareness campaign, something the city is working on with a couple key points for people to remember. Give us some more details about this.
Yeah, so we know that the time of the holidays can be a stressful time for families, and so we really want to kind of put a fine point on the issue of domestic violence during this time. We have some billboards going out on 694 just with some messaging about recognizing the signs of domestic violence when you gather for the holidays. Make sure you're paying attention. Are you seeing things in your family that maybe somebody could use some help? Letting people know they're not alone. There is help out there. So lots of resources out there with Day One Minnesota, and encouraging folks to reach out and access those services. So messaging will run into early January, information available on our website as well, or reaching out or going to the Maria's Voice website. So mariasvoice.org, lots of connections there. And if you're interested in just reviewing, what are the common signs of domestic violence that you might be able to pick up, check out the Maria's Voice website and spend some time refreshing yourself with that before you gather for the holidays.
Very good idea. All right, a couple newsletters and pieces of information out for you to look at. The first is the winter newsletter, packed full of information that is available for people right now what is a little bit of what's inside?
Yeah, so the winter newsletter filled with a variety of information from all the city departments, programs and fun activities that are available for residents through February. So currently on our website, but also paper copies were mailed to all households and businesses.
All right, and we'll get to another guide out there in just a second. But first, let's talk next year. One of the big things on the city's mind is elections. There's
Yes.
a lot going on around this. And the first ask, and we'll do it right now, beginning the year, is for election judges. How can
Yep.
people help out?
Yeah, so we're always looking for folks that are willing to serve the community as an election judge. And this year, 2024, is going to be a big year for us. It's a presidential election. So we kick it off with absentee voting that starts January 19th for the presidential nominating primary. So that's kind of a new thing to Minnesota. This is our
Right.
second one. So the actual PNP will take place on Tuesday, March 5th, but absentee voting starts not long into the new
Yes,
year here.
right.
So we're always looking for election judges. You know, we do with each election, so we'll have 3 kind of elections this year, the PNP, the primary, and then the general. We do have election judges working days leading up to the election because we do a tremendous amount of absentee voting in Maple Grove. We can vote up to 45% of the registered voters in advance of the election. And so that need for support leading up to the day of the election, and then of course on election day as well. So if you're interested in serving, information application can be found on the city website, and information just about what it entails to be an election judge. So just a reminder that absentee voting for that presidential nominating primary, January 19th, and you can absentee vote weekdays at the government center for that, and then that nominating primary will take place Tuesday, March 5th, and that'll be held at the polling places.
All right, lots of dates that are remembered. Go to the city's website, maplegrovemn.gov, to find out more about that, and also about being an election judge. We'll show you that again at the end of the program. Parks and Recreation Activity Guide. If the snow falls, there's going to be a lot to do outside, but there's still a lot inside,
Yeah.
so this guide is very handy.
Yeah, so our winter edition of our Parks and Recreation Activity Guide is available on the city website. So as you mentioned, some outdoor things, but also a lot of indoor things while we don't have any snow and ice that we can play on.
Speaking of ice, let's go there to the skating loop. So far so good. That's been able to survive, and
It has.
everyone's coming.
Yeah, it's been very busy. I think they rented like 3,600 skates in
Oh,
the last
my
2 weeks
goodness.
or something. So it's been very busy, and everybody's out there enjoying the lights and the music and all those types of things. So skating is free. We do charge to rent skates, and there's also concessions available there. We are struggling in the outdoor ice department.
Yes.
It is just not really a possibility right now. I mean, 48 degrees and sunny on Christmas Eve. This is not your typical Minnesota December.
Right.
So we're going to hold out here and wait and see. I'm hearing that maybe towards the middle of January, things might start to trend downwards. So we'll wait and see if that comes to be. But right now, not the ability to make any outdoor, neighborhood rinks. And then, of course, the ice castles are
Yes.
struggling as well. Who knew, that this would be the year where, after the last few years, that we would have this warm of weather well into the winter. So stay tuned for that. You can follow along their website. I'm sorry, they have a Facebook page, the Ice Castles Facebook page, and
Okay.
they'll keep that updated in terms of when they might see the ability to open that, but not anytime soon, I'm afraid.
All right, well, the nice weather has helped in a few ways for
Yeah.
something that you do in the spring and summertime, and that is Pickle Ball. And
Yep.
tell us about that new area, and a lot being done, but it's still more to be done next year.
Yeah, so this is at Lakeview Knolls Park, which is right off of County Road 30, just west of Fernbrook there. If you drive by, you'll see it. It's pretty prominent there, just on the north side of County Road 30. So the work for this season is done. The courts are in. They'll need to be painted in the spring, so that'll be something they'll get after when the weather turns in the spring. And then the picnic shelter installation is slated for completion in February, and then a restroom building will follow on that. So we anticipate court usage by May, and then substantial project completion by June. So this will be an exciting addition for next summer.
But people are not waiting to play pickleball until next summer. They
No.
are playing it right now inside, courtesy of the city. Where's that happening?
Yeah, so at the Maple Grove Community Center in the gym there, you can do day passes to come play pickleball, or also we have a membership for pickleball only as well. So lots of pickleballers coming into the community center.
And another way to stay active, no, it's not too cold outside, but maybe if it rains outside and you
Yeah.
want to stay dry, you can go to the Sports Dome, and that is new and improved.
Yeah, so the Sports Dome's looking really great this year. The school district replaced the turf in the last year, the new fabric, and then lighting was upgraded as well to all LED, so it's looking really sharp in there. They do have walking, hours for walking and jogging. Check the website for those hours, but temperature controlled in there, about 55 degrees,
Yeah.
so it's a great environment to come out and get, go out for a walk, especially into the evening hours when now it's so dark. It allows a great option there.
Very good. We keep you updated on the farmers market, and right now we're in that little holding pattern. After shopping for the holidays, they take a little break. When are they back?
Yeah, so we're not coming back to the farmers market until March. That'll be inside the community center. So last market, I think it's today.
Okay, here in the middle of December on
I think
the
it
19th?
is. Yeah,
Okay.
I think there's one today right
think
before the
you are
holiday.
right.
Yeah. So you probably will. It'll probably be over by the time you see
Right,
this. Sorry about that.
exactly.
But yeah, we've been grateful for the farmers market that has been inside for the last few weeks here, and so we'll look forward to them coming back in the spring.
All right, a busy time in the city of Maple Grove, as you see. So again, go to the city's website to find out more. Heidi, thank you so much for your time here today.
You're welcome.
Let's leave you with that next council meeting date, which again is a little ways off, and the Maple Grove website. There you see the next meeting on Tuesday, January 16th at 7:30 at the Government Center. And again, maplegrovemn.gov, the place to find out all about things that are going on and a look back at some of that budget information and planning information as well for the city. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the City of Maple Grove Report.